Ours is the latest one.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
I'm back here. Ready then?
Slick spot.
It's like a narrow little thing infested with nettle. So it is significantly better now. I'm sure you'll feel it at some point through the
Little
future.
tiny. It's got little tiny, like,
What?
it stings.
It stings for like 5 minutes and then goes away.
Yeah.
Oh. I know.
Bring it right in here to the left. Left turn. Keep the back end high, keep the back end low. Hold up. I know that this boat's gonna float towards St. Croix. We have something there.
My mom's not very happy.
Were we watching the movie tonight, or?
It's not a good place for me to leave, so I'm not gonna do that. Is that being my plan as right now? It's changes constantly. It's not
Another shot. There you go. There you go.
It's just, I mean,
A new skill that I learned is having faith instead of fear that I'll do okay, like going through rapids and any turbulent water.
The most challenging part of the trip was going through the rapids and not being scared that I was just going to flip at any moment.
I would say the most rewarding part of the trip was making it this far and seeing how far I've come from the beginning of the week in both my paddling abilities and just the distance.
So I learned about water quality degradation, so I learned about how it usually goes down with urbanization, because as the number of people increase, the number of pollutants in the river also usually increases. So on our trip, we've been doing water quality testing. So for example, I've done ammonia nitrate, so when we did it in the Perkiomen, I noticed that it was actually 0, and then it actually started to increase the further down into the Schuylkill and into the Delaware.
The most challenging part of the trip was like portaging. A new skill I learned was like how to canoe better, and like also how to like turn around in the canoe and that stuff.
So I wrote about invasive species, particularly in the Perkiomen watershed. And invasives, if you don't already know this, are from other countries and they harm our local ecosystems, particularly the red-eared slider, which we saw on the trip multiple occasions, and we saved one too. It outcompetes native turtles and it harms our environment, but we haven't really found a way to kill it, so that's our #1 priority right now.
Most challenging, I think, was it was definitely challenging trying to get to sleep every night, and it was also challenging, like, on one hand balancing like, oh cool, we're in this nice park surrounded by nature, and then oh hey, there's a train coming every 2 hours.
So my article was about water pollution, specifically with runoff, and it's really become very clear, especially with the Schuylkill out here, because the Schuylkill River, like, you can't really, I don't know how well you can see it too well, but it's like basically brown with all the pollution and all the stormwater runoff that's in it, just based on all the storm drains that run through sewer plants and all of that, and then just go straight into the Schuylkill. And so yeah, it's just become really clear on the trip how bad that is.
The most rewarding part was probably all the experience I've gained from paddling, canoeing along the way. The most challenging, probably the Fairmount Portage or the rapids on Flat Rock Dam.
The most rewarding part of the trip for me was finally being able to tie our 3rd rope around our paddle. It really made it real that we paddled 3 rivers. That was super cool.
The most rewarding part was definitely all the skills that I've gained from canoeing. I've never done it before until this expedition.
What was the most challenging part?
I would say getting all the boats ready to be used for the day.
The most rewarding was we finally finished our last portage today, so being able to conquer all those was really great. The most challenging was getting up in the morning and being able to just canoe right away, and that was very hard for me because I am not a morning person at all. So,
I think just being on the water is really rewarding because I enjoy it and I never get to do it at school or at home because I don't have a boat of any kind.
Wow, there's a lot of very challenging parts on the trip, and I think the most challenging part is to stay motivated through all of them. A new skill that I learned, I'm better at steering now, the canoe. I think I've gotten, ruddering and I've gotten better at it, so there you go.
My name's Jessie Kemper. I'm the Conservation Coordinator at the Perkiomen Watershed Conservancy. The most rewarding part of the trip was seeing how well all of our kids have gotten along. It's really great when we have a group that can hang out together and everyone gets along and really enjoys each other's company. The most challenging part of the trip was definitely managing a larger group. This year we were a little bit bigger than we've been in years past, and we're finding that it's taking us a lot longer to get things done and get on the water in the morning, so sort of managing that was a new task this year.
Hi, I'm Beth Myers. I work in the Conservation Department at the Conservancy as a conservationist. The most rewarding part of the trip for me is just seeing the kids have a really good time at the campsites, on the water while we're paddling. They really just seem to enjoy the trip and learn a lot while we're doing it, so that's probably the most rewarding part for me. The most challenging part of the trip is probably getting the kids up in the morning. It's a little difficult to get them rolling a little bit, get them up. We have a chore list for them to do to help us out at the campsite, so we have to reinforce that a little bit, but they're all super hard workers and they're great to have with us.